Alrighty, so a little blitz game here. Little Friday blitz. Been playing a little bit the past few days, but I felt like I've been playing really badly. So decided to slow it down a little bit and see if it's any better here. So this is a little Slav setup, kind of a nice solid defense as black. Oh, some people too have been asking me if I'll play them a game. I'm trying to play a couple people. I know some of you have been supporting me on Patreon. If you're somebody that's supporting at $10 or more a month, shoot me a message. Post a comment on there. Let me know what your username is on chess.com. Send a friend request, and I'll be happy to play you a correspondence game. I think you get a few days per move. A correspondence game a month if you want to play a game. So just a thought. Again, I need a few days. I can't spend all day every day on here playing chess, although I would like to. But just if you're interested. So, all right, back to the chess game. Just gonna develop my pieces here. Gonna get this bishop out. You usually have to be careful about getting out the queen bishop in some of these lines because the queen will go to b3. But actually, in the Slav, one of the reasons sometimes they even play a6 is to play rook a7. So kind of a strange looking little move there to defend the b pawn. So okay, so he's already offering a trade of bishops, and that's his good bishop. So I don't know if I want to play queen d7 or if I want to go ahead and take. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take it. He'll get, develop the queen with a little tempo, but that's okay. So again, my whole play now is really going to be based on the fact that he's got this dark squared bishop, and he's got a lot of pawns on his dark squares. And, it's one of those things that seems subtle, but it could end up being very, very problematic for him in the long run. So I'm just going to keep developing. At some point, he's going to need to either play b4 or play e4 to get in the pawn break, to get, some kind of scope for the bishop. Okay, so there's e4. So now the problem with this is, though, maybe he's got this isolated pawn, and isolated pawns aren't necessarily a weakness, but as more and more pieces come off, it can be a weakness. So I'm pretty happy with my position here. For once, again, my openings are usually pretty atrocious. And I think now I'm just going to do something simple, maybe play like queen d7, double up the rooks, get my rooks to the d file and c file. Could even play something like queen d5, maybe forcing this knight trade. So maybe queen d5 is even better than queen d7. So I think that'll be my next move, depending on what he does. Play queen d5, maybe if he trades. And then if he trades the knight, the good thing is my bishop is now going to be on f6, hitting this weak d pawn. So, all right, so got a little bit of time advantage here, almost a minute advantage already. Alright, so he's trying to reinforce that d-pawn. So queen d5, it could always run into knight c3. And then maybe he'll be able to get that pawn push in. So queen d5, knight c3, I've got to move the queen, and then he can probably play d5, getting rid of that weak pawn. So I think what I'm going to do here is just play queen d7. Now if he trades and tries to push, I can always double up because the pawn will be pinned. So queen d7, you could play something like knight c5. If he does that, I'll probably just play queen c7, cutting off this f4 square for his bishop. Alright, I guess he's maybe thinking of trading and then playing again just knight. Oh, well, duh. Okay, I'm losing my mind. So the clear threat here is to take, I take, and then it's going to be mate. So h6 doesn't really address that threat at all, so we've got to be a little careful here. Got to be a little careful. G6 seems to at least protect h7. Maybe there's a better way to do it, but that works for me. Uh-oh, his little icon bar is flashing up there. I don't know if he's having connection problems. My connection's been really bad too. I've been losing like 10, 15 seconds in bullet games, so maybe it's my fault. So, woo, see, you can see how bad I'm playing. I'm just almost overlooking like two move mate threats. So, but I've got time. Let's just think it out. So again, I'm happy with my position. If he takes, I take. He pushes, I'm just gonna pin. And I think I'll be in good shape there. So again, this is a 1700 rated player. Decent rating. I don't think I'm that strong, to be honest. I mean, somebody said the other day, I posted a comment where I'm not very good. And, it's not one of those issues where you're trying to fish for compliments. I guess when you meet some really strong players, you kind of find out just how bad you are. So, all right. So again, he's trying to do the same little tactic where he'll take, I'll take, and then it's mate. So I don't really see any good ways to prevent this other than to push to h5. King g7 doesn't address it. So it looks like h5 is almost forced to me, but it's a perfectly playable, reasonable move. You can try to take, I'll take, and maybe try something radical like playing g4. But I mean, if you really want to hack and go for it. So you got to be a little careful, right? He's got all these pieces on my king side. It only takes a local majority to make something happen. So, all right, he's just now back to developing. I'm going to play king g7, and the idea is if he ever plays something like g4, I can always just play rook h8 and kind of nullify that queen. So I think still I'm going to try to get in this move that I wanted to, maybe queen d5. I still don't know if knight c3 works. I think if he does that, I may just play queen f5. Getting rid of his queen. Okay, so there's finally the knight c5 move we talked about earlier. Unfortunately, he's only down to 27 seconds, so there's not... I can almost just start playing strictly for time and win this. So I'm thinking about playing either bishop c5, he takes, and playing knight d5, or just simply playing queen c7. My b-pawn's hanging, so that's kind of the issue. What's the best thing? So the other issue, too, is if I play... okay, so again, I'm missing everything. If I play queen c7, he could actually just play knight e6, and then I take, and he plays knight e6, and he's going to fork my king and my queen. So that's a little bit of an issue. So let's just play this, and now I've got knight d5. This is the thing, chess is just... It's all about these just like subtle one-move tactics sometimes, and it's easy to overlook them, as you see me almost doing. Especially when you're playing somebody strong and quick. You're trying to blitz out these moves, and it's just easy to miss these things. So I actually am starting to like his position. This pawn's strong. He can play something like knight d6, but unfortunately it took him too long to get to this position. So I can really almost start doing anything and can hang on here without too much trouble. So time is money. Time is money. So I don't know. I'm almost inclined not to think much now. So, okay, so let's maybe play one more here. See if I've got time for one more. If I don't get a game quickly. Okay, he wants a rematch, so let's do a rematch. So d4, my favorite opening. Knight c3. I always play e3 against passive. I should start playing some lines maybe with bishop f4. Okay, he's playing the King's Indian defense. e3 is definitely not a good line against it, so let's just go into the main line. The King's Indian defense is kind of considered... well, okay, so now it's not the King's Indian defense anymore. I believe this is a Grunfeld, if I remember correctly. And there's quite a bit of theory. You take, he takes, you can play e4, he takes... let's see if we can find some of the theory. I don't know it. The idea is this stuff. Usually you play an early c5. A lot of the lines white will play slightly different move order and have the knight on e2. I remember that much. Bishop e3, I think that will run into queen a5, which again is probably not really a problem. So let's see what happens. So this is hyper modern chess at its finest. The idea is, you know, black willingly concedes the pawn center, but the idea is black's trying to counterattack and to eventually take over the pawn center on his own. Alright, so I'm just going to keep developing queen d2. Seems like this has got to be normal. Probably bishop g4 is coming next to remove this knight. You know, it's all about this d4 square. That's what we're fighting over. So bishop g4 seems like a good move. I'm sure there's some line of theory that says I shouldn't have done what I did. So okay, there's bishop g4. So now if I defend, he takes, I takes, and I'm going to lose that pawn. So that's kind of the problem. I could always play e5 here, kind of blunting this bishop. Maybe that's the way to do it. Or I could play d5 as well. d5, though, might run into takes, and then knight e5. Then I can always just play bishop e2. But then I can't really castle. But if I play e5, the same thing, I'm going to run into kind of this shattered pawn structure. Could play rook d1, again, just reinforcing. Let's play rook d1. So this is where theory's nice, you know. If you know a little theory and just some basics, you can come out with even, you know, sometimes an advantage. So this is kind of classic chess here. Again, this hyper modern line. I've got definitely some pawn weaknesses. I've got 1, 2, 3 pawn islands, right? They're broken up into 3 little sort of chunks where he's only got 2. But I do have the 2 bishops, which is considered compensation, and I also have this control of the center, which again is more compensation. So this is what makes chess interesting, is which imbalance is more important and who plays their position more correctly. So okay, so he castled. I don't really have any good defense on the, you know, castling kingside doesn't make a lot of sense to me, so I'm just going to play h5. If he lets me, I'm going to play h6. I assume he'll play h5 to block this up. But again, the center's controlled for the moment. Okay, so h5, there it is. Now I've got some ideas with playing f4 and f5, again trying to bust up his center, or his kingside. I don't know where this bishop goes just yet. You know, c4, d3, e2. I don't want to put it on d3 because then the pawn's going to be weak. h3, so I'm going to go ahead and play f4. It seems like it's going to be part of my plan at some point. And if possible, I may just play something like rook g1 and f5, again trying to hack open his kingside. Once I get f5 in, I can also play bishop h6. So maybe he can just play something like e6, trying to prevent, excuse me, f5. Can always sack the pawn anyway, takes, and then still play rook g1, so it's still possible. Definitely got to be careful with this king in the middle. Okay, so now he's trying to trade off. Takes. I think I'm happy to go into this ending, though. I can still play e5 here, trying to blunt this. I think it's time to get my bishop out to do something with it, so without too much thought, let's play bishop e2. If he wants to trade down, that's fine. I tend to like playing end games a little bit, so okay, so smart move. Again, he's just trying to get more pressure on. I feel like d5's forced here. Oh no. Bishop c3 wins on the spot. Okay, good God. Terrible. Man, see how bad I'm playing. So bad. So bad. Man. Embarrassing. Let's see what this guy... see a little bit about him. Oh, he looks angry in his picture. Okay. Let's see if we can create some problems. Again, this is just totally busted for me. Let's see if we can't work some magic here. Didn't have a great bullet rating, so maybe I can flag him. Still got 2 minutes, which is plenty of time. And again, a piece for a queen's not the best. It's days like this where I feel like I should just play tic-tac-toe instead. Should just play tic-tac-toe instead. Oi. Tempted just to resign here. Very tempted. Again, let's just try to cause problems. It's Blitz. You can just play b6 and then just totally busted. Totally busted. Totally busted. I mean, he really doesn't have any weaknesses at all at this point. Man. So yeah, there's b6. Bada. Alright, I don't know. I would play knight f5 here. Seems like the smart move. Or that. Really anything, right? I think everything wins here. I think everything wins here. Everything wins. Alright, so a little defense. That didn't do anything whatsoever. Alright, so now he just wants to play d3, which looks like a smart move to me. Rook g3, if he pushes, I can at least pin. Okay, so this also looks good. Let's play queen f4. Rook d3, just to try to keep this this bishop a little protected. You know, okay, so again, there's the move that looks smart to me. The rook's going to come in here in just a second. I ain't got much time. So that's just to block the rook. If he plays queen c1, I'm just going to play right back. Alright, so he's running out of time. Again, I'm just going to try to flag. So again, rook f2 here, that makes the most sense. He didn't play it. He also realizes he's running out of time. Again, rook f2, I don't see what else to do. Oh, so terrible. Now queen f4, rook c1 looks almost like game over. If I play bishop here, he plays the queen check, and that's big problems, so I can play this. Oh, I'm almost embarrassed to win this one. But not that embarrassed. I gotta be a little careful still. He's got a mate in two. Terrible. I feel bad about winning that one. But you can see how easy it is to play terribly.